Target Games was a Swedish publisher of role-playing games active from 1980 until the year 1999 when they went into bankruptcy proceedings. Publications. They published much of their early material in the form of stapled books in G5 format in a box together with dice. They released the role-playing games Drakar och Demoner, Mutant Rymd and Mutant Chronicles, Cult, Chock, Sagan om Ringen and Stjärn Orneskrig. Target Games also published Warzone, a miniature war game. They also released 3 generic sourcebooks, Grumkraftsfalla, Stadsintermezzon and Skattkammaren, as well as many adventures and sourcebooks for their games. Until the mid-1990s, Target Games published their Swedish role-playing games under the brand name of Enterspel. Target Games was reconstructed in 1999 and ceased publication of all of its inventory, and the intellectual property rights were transferred to the daughter company Paradox Entertainment, which later became an independent company. Some of the titles have since been licensed to new game companies. Beside role-playing games, the company had its own magazine named Syncadus, published translated game books as well as translated fantasy novels. Target Games also published Drakar och Demoner, a computer game, in 1999. Main products. Drakar and Demoner. The fantasy role-playing Drakar and Demoner was Target Games' best-selling series of games. Today the Drakar and Demoner brand is owned by Swedish company Neo Games. The rules of the various Target Games editions of the game were all based on the basic role-playing system, with the first editions being translations without major changes. The earlier editions didn't include any campaign setting except for some information about generic fantasy creatures and so on. Over time, different writers created the Erebolta campaign setting piecemeal in adventures and sourcebooks. For the 5th edition, released in 1994, a new setting was created, dubbed Chronopia, that had a darker tone. Mutant. The name Mutant was used for a series of unrelated science fiction-themed role-playing games. The 1984 version was set in a post-apocalyptic world similar to the one in Gamma World. Mutant 2 was an expansion module with more advanced rules. The 1989 version was a cyberpunk game, while the later Mutant Rymd and Mutant Chronicles were science fantasy games set in the Solar System. All versions used variants of the basic role-playing rule system. Mutant Chronicles. The Mutant Chronicles brand later became so popular that it spawned multiple spin-offs as well, most notably the Doomtrooper collectible card game as well as the Warzone miniature war game. Cult is a horror-themed game and was first released in 1991. The setting was inspired by Gnostic philosophy and horror films such as Hellraiser. The violent horror themes of the game made it subject of controversy in Sweden on multiple occasions. This resulted in Swedish toy stores refusing to sell the game.